A lot of people struggle with motivation. I get messages all the time. How do I stay motivated? How do I get more motivation? It seems as if it's something that a lot of people are struggling with, and it's reflective in the statistics of Americans. You know, the average American has less than $1,000 in their bank account. That's a real stat. The average American is 17 pounds overweight. Goddamn. So motivation must be an issue. We don't need more information. We need more motivation, or so it seems. And in this video, if you watch it, I fucking guarantee that you will never have to worry about motivation again. In fact, only thing you're going to be worried about is how you can slow the fuck down. A runaway train charging towards your goal, crushing anything in its path. Motivation would be the least of your concern. That's only if you watch this whole goddamn video and implement what I say. Now, if you're a long time Brandon Carter fan, you may watch this video and think, oh, I've heard him say some of this before. Shut the fuck up. No one asked you what you heard before, bitch. You need to hear it again, because if you would have did it last time, you wouldn't be watching videos on how to be motivated, dummy. This time, you're gonna watch it again and then do what the fuck I say so you can fucking get some success. Finally, some of you may be asking, hey, why should I listen to this guy in a tank top yelling at me about motivation? Over the last few years, I've grown several multi-8-figure businesses. I've coached thousands of people in both business, fitness, and personal development. And most importantly, let's not forget this, I got way more money than yo dumbass. So just shut up and listen. All right. There are 6 main enemies of motivation. Put that down. The 6 main enemies of motivation. There's stress, burnout, overwhelm, discouragement, lack of confidence, and fear of failure. These are the main 6 enemies of overwhelm. Yeah, I know my handwriting is pretty bad. It's kind of like maybe if a crackhead started doing graffiti like day one, like not he's good at, he like smoke crack. He's been smoking crack for a long time, but this is day one of him writing graffiti. That's what my handwriting looks like. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Any one of these 6 things can cause you to lose motivation and stop you from accomplishing your goals, right? So this be you, man, looking all fucking sad. Oh, all right, this is you. How do we prevent this? Well, let's talk about it. We're going to attack these from 3 different angles. Number 1, the first angle is we have to look at dopamine. What people don't understand, what they don't seem to realize, is that motivation can sometimes be an actual biological issue. You can't out-discipline biology. You need to go to the root of the problem, and it's dopamine. Like some people tell you, just do it. But I'm gonna tell you how to do it. And the first part is the biology of dopamine. Now here's important. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's responsible for actual motivation and drive. When your dopamine levels are high, you feel fucking incredible. You feel amazing. You actually enjoy life. Your quality of life, your overall well-being, and the amount of pleasure you experience is direct proportion to how much dopamine is in your system at any given time. In fact, dopamine also is responsible for how much energy you have, because dopamine helps manufacture another neurotransmitter called epinephrine. And epinephrine is also known as adrenaline. You know what I'm saying? Let me help you make sense of this shit, dummy. So you motherfuckers will have shit to do all day. And you fucking, I don't have motivation. When you're presented with something fun, you seem to instantly get motivation and energy to do it. You've been procrastinating on the other shit, but when it's time for video games, smoking weed, or jagging off, you seem to just have a bunch of energy. There's a reason for that. There's a biological reason for that. It's because those things will spark your dopamine. Just the thought of them will cause your body to spike dopamine, and that dopamine will also cause a spike in epinephrine, which is adrenaline. This is why you'll procrastinate on other shit all day, but when something you know is fun is presented with you, you seem to have a bunch of energy for that. You didn't get more glucose all of a sudden, right? You didn't need carbs or energy drink to do it. You just got excited about it, you know? So here's the thing though. I want you to think of dopamine. I'm gonna draw a brain. Your brain has kind of like a pool of dopamine, like a reserve of it. Your body's making dopamine every day. Now, every time you spike dopamine, your brain will you'll release it from this pool, from this reservoir of dopamine. And the thing is, then after you use it, let's say you play video games for half an hour, right? Boom, now you have less dopamine left. After you have a huge spike in dopamine, you'll have a drop below baseline. You always have a baseline level of dopamine. After the spike, you're gonna experience a sharp decline in below the baseline. And dopamine levels will replenish over time, unless, of course, you keep doing the thing over and over again, and then you don't give your body enough time to recover. For example, people who play video games all the time experience this. Now, I'm not trying to talk shit about video games. I know you gamer nerds get all fucking bent out of shape if I make fun of you playing World of Warcraft all the time. I know you guys are very eager to voice your displeasure with me making fun of you playing video games all day. Just pay attention for a minute. Video games are fun, right? They spike dopamine. Problem is, if you play them all the time, you're gonna experience a dip below baseline levels of dopamine after. And if you keep playing it, right, what happens is you'll never allow them to recover. You never allow your dopamine reserves to replenish. But remember how this started. You need dopamine to have motivation. It's very important. Without dopamine, you will not have motivation. But if you squander all your dopamine on bullshit, then you won't be motivated to do the things you need to do. So here's the thing. Most of you guys don't have a motivation problem. It's like you're motivated to do some things. You're just not motivated to do the things that aren't super fun. You're not motivated to do certain things. You are motivated to do the things that you consider fun. It's not that you have a motivation problem, it's that you're squandering your dopamine on empty victories, right? So now you're running around with no baseline. You've been doing things that spike your dopamine all day. And there's a list of, especially like the cheap dopamine. You want to really avoid the cheap dopamine. For example, pornography, video games, excessive amount of TV, social media, basically all vices. What they do is they deplete your dopamine levels, right? And then you don't have any dopamine left to deploy against your real goals, the things that actually get you further in life. You know what I'm saying? And if you do this too often, before your dopamine levels have a time to replenish, then it's going to be super difficult to do anything hard, right? Imagine if you played video games all day. This is some of you guys' life, right? You play video games for hours, jerk off a few times, and then you don't have enough dopamine to like attack anything like with vigor. And then later that night you go out to a nightclub and that's like all dopamine, right? You're gonna go out to the nightclub, you're gonna hear loud music, you're gonna see beautiful women, maybe God forbid you start doing drugs, right? And then you're doing drugs, drinking alcohol. These are all things that really spike your dopamine levels. And then you're not gonna have nothing left the next day. You blew your dopamine low. Now the next day you're gonna sit around with a depleted amount of dopamine, right? So you really have to learn to conserve this and use this precious resource towards your goals as opposed to towards bullshit. So we wanna avoid cheap dopamine as much as possible, right? We wanna avoid vices, going out having casual sex, Tinder, social media, video games, recreational drugs, even drinking alcohol, because all these things will lower your baseline levels of dopamine. And it's going to be time before your dopamine levels replenish. You get what I'm saying? Now, here's some things that will actually increase your dopamine levels. Cold showers. Cold showers, there's studies that show that cold showers improve your baseline level of dopamine. So it's not like a spike. They actually raise your baseline levels 2.5%. for a brief period of time, then you go back to baseline. Studies show you don't go below baseline. Cryotherapy, it takes it even further. I feel like kind of euphoric after I've done cryotherapy. That's why I do it so often. Caffeine. What caffeine does is helps the dopamine that you have. It doesn't raise your dopamine levels. It helps you, it increases the receptors, right? So you can utilize the dopamine in your brain more effectively, right? And there is a supplement, I think it's called L-tyrosine, and that is a natural supplement. It's an amino acid that's been studies shown to increase baseline levels of dopamine. If you take too much though, like over a gram, you will experience a drop below baseline after that. What's most important is you want to protect your baseline levels of dopamine, right? So you don't want to squander your dopamine on empty victories and vices. This is why you're addicted to those things. You want to be able to use your dopamine to deploy against your goals. That's the first part of it. The second part is super important. We want to change your brain. Let me explain. Here's the thing. Sigmund Freud, he's the father of modern psychology. He also did a lot of cocaine. He was kind of perverted, you know what I'm saying? But listen, no one's perfect. But Sigmund Freud, he's the father of modern psychology, and he came up with something called the pleasure pain principle. And basically what the homie Sig said, that all humans, every decision anyone makes, they're either running towards pleasure or away from pain. That's fire. I know you got to think, Brandon is such a great artist. Is there nothing this man can do? They're running towards pleasure or away from pain, right? This is why anyone does anything. Now it's perceived pleasure or perceived pain, okay? So right now, you associate pain with shit like working out. You associate pain with going after your goals. You associate pain with going to bed early. You associate pain with waking up early. And you associate pleasure doing drugs, chasing hoes, jerking off, watching porn, vices. You've been trying to use discipline to circumvent this, right? To mitigate your exposure to vices and start increasing your adherence to the things that will help you accomplish your goals. But you wonder why it's not working, because you're trying to fight against this. What we want to do is to use this in our favor. And the way you do this, there's two ways to do this. You're going to make two lists. It's going to be called the list of great and the list of hate. And what you're going to do is, let's start with the list of hate. First, what you're going to do is you're going to make a list of everyone who talks shit about you, everyone who hated on you, every girl who dumped you, cheated on you, laughed at you. You know what I'm saying? Every guy who said you couldn't do it, everybody who said you couldn't accomplish your goals. You're going to make a list. And what we're going to add to it is not just people, but I want you to think about what your life would be like if you don't accomplish your goals. What would be the negative ramifications if you did not go after your goals, if you did not work on your purpose every day, if you didn't try to maximize your ability, if you didn't really actually push yourself to your limits, of what your life would be like, and make it as bad as possible, like the worst case scenario. And you want to look at this every day. And then you also want to have what's called a list of great. And the list of great, I want you to imagine a version of yourself. This guy, he's accomplished all the goals that you have for yourself, right? There's a version of yourself who's actually fulfilling his full potential. And think about all the attributes that this man has, right? What time does he wake up? Does he go to sleep? How much video games is he playing, if any? How many recreational drugs is he doing, right? Is he at the club all the time? Is he chasing pleasure, or is he chasing purpose, right? Make a long list of all the attributes that this person has to have. And you're going to look at both of these lists every day. And you're going to look at those lists whenever you feel like you need motivation. You're going to write this list in your phone. You can put it in the Notes app on your iPhone, right? Or if you have an Android, you can put it in your fucking dork apps, poor people apps, whatever it's called. And you'll look at it every day. And what's going to happen is this is going to rewire your associations with pain and pleasure. So now you're going to start associating pleasure with acting in accordance of your list of great. And you're going to associate pain with when you do something that actually works with the list of hate. And what's going to happen is you're going to start rewiring your brain, all right? And now you start associating pleasure with shitting on the haters. And you associate pain with anything that will actually help the haters win, right? So every time you're lazy, every time you don't accomplish your goals, every time you sleep in, every time you skip a workout, you're going to know that these motherfuckers who are hating on you are winning. And if you don't, and remember this too, if you don't accomplish your goals, if somebody said you could never make it, if somebody said you won't never be shit, and then you don't end up being shit, it wasn't hate. It was just an accurate assessment of your potential, right? Were they right or were they wrong? The onus is on you, brother. The onus is on you. You're either proving them right or you're proving them wrong. And you're doing that every day, right? And what happens is you're going to start associating pleasure with doing things that are proven wrong. You'll start associating pleasure with acting in accordance of the description of the man you wrote in the list of great, because you'll know that that's who you actually need to become to accomplish your goals, right? And now, guess what? After repeated exposure to this, now you're not using discipline. You know what I'm saying? It's not discipline anymore. You actually want to go after those goals. You actually want to do the things that are on your list of great. And you actually feel bad when you do things that are in accordance to the list of hate. When you do things that help the haters win. It's not discipline. You're rewiring your brain. right? You're changing your brain, and you end up changing the game. Now, we got a third thing. We're going to talk a third tip. Here's the most important part, guys, is tracking. Here's the thing. Once you've changed your brain, you change your associations with pain. Once you've changed your brain and you've altered your associations with pain and pleasure, and now you're not using discipline to go after your goals because now you get pleasure out of doing the things. Now you have to track it to make sure you maintain motivation. Let's say there's a goal you want to accomplish. You want to accomplish a goal. This is a mountaintop. Boom. There's a big goal here that you want to accomplish. Boom. Let's say money or some shit. Right? Big goal you want to accomplish. And now you may be looking at it, but you're way down here, man. You're not even close. And then you're looking at the goal, and then you sad and shit again because you're so far away from it. You're so far away from it. It looks like you're not going to get it. So you're sad, crying and shit. And then what's worse, but to make matters worse, you may see motherfuckers with the shit that you want, looking at you, laughing, straight up laughing at your goofy ass. Motherfucking, you see motherfuckers like me with the shit you want, King Keto, and we laughing at you. That makes you sad. Because what you do is you see the distance between where you are and where you want to be, and then you see other people doing it, and you may get discouraged. I feel like we've all been there. We've all been there at certain times in our life. Now, here's the thing. Here's what's important. The accomplishment of the goal, this is a trophy I'm drawing. The accomplishment of the goal is what's called a lagging indicator. And a lagging indicator, what that means is just shows what happened, right? So when you see somebody winning the championship, you see somebody victoriously standing on the podium, getting a gold medal or a championship, it just shows what happened. It doesn't show what's going to happen. It shows what happened. For example, when you see somebody fucking ripped and swole, flexing on yours with mad muscles, is a lagging indicator, right? It just shows the results. Lagging indicators are just results. However, leading indicators are the action that lead to the results. So like if somebody wanted to win the championship or something, they probably got to like train a lot. This is training. I know what you guys are thinking, like, this guy is an amazing artist. What can't he do? So leading indicators are the things that lead to the results. You get what I'm saying? So leading indicators are actions. Lagging indicators are results. What you want to do is not focus on the fucking results. So a lot of people, they get real excited about visualization and all this other shit. But I think that can fuck you up a lot of times because you end up like this motherfucker. Because what you'll see is the distance between where you are and what you want to accomplish. You get what I'm saying? If you focus on the leading indicators, if you just focus on the things that get the results will take care of themselves. So if you wanted to lose 10 pounds, let's say you wanted to lose 10 pounds, right? In the next 10 weeks, super easy, right? All you have to do is burn 500 calories a day, right? Because a pound of fat is 3,500 calories, right? So you'd have to be, if you were in a 500 calorie deficit 7 days in a row, that would be 3,500 calories. So you'd burn a pound of fat, right? If you did that for 10 weeks in a row, you'd burn 10 pounds of fat, and you wouldn't even have to think or look at the results because you know what would happen from the leading indicators. You get what I'm saying? For example, my son just got his report card. He's in first grade. Obviously, he's perfect. Like nothing, but it's perfect, you know. But those are the results. The leading indicators is he's had tutors since he was a baby. When he was like 2 years old, I used to throw flashcards on the floor. This kid could barely talk or walk. He's in a diaper. And he would take the flashcards from 1 to 100, say them and put them in order at 2. I got videos of him doing it. We were training. I was training him since he was a baby to be good at academics, right? So I didn't even have to look at the report card. I knew it was gonna be perfect, right? Because we train with him every day, you know? For example, I don't have to weigh myself or measure my biceps all the time, right? I just track the leading indicators, right? Do I hit my macros every day? Yes. Do I miss my training ever? No, right? Do I get enough sleep every night? Yes. Do I drink a gallon of water every day? Yes. Oh, if I do that, of course I'm gonna hit my fitness goals, right? It can't not happen. Right. So what you want to do is I've given this example before. So if you heard it again, listen anyway, dumbass. Let's say there's a bug in your house. A bug can't make it to my house. It's too high. There's a penthouse. You motherfuckers ever seen a bug in a penthouse? Of course not. They can't get this high. It's not their natural habitat. They're not indigenous to this altitude. There's no insects that can live. I don't even know if an insect can live this high. Birds can hardly get this high. What are they gonna? How they even gonna get here? What are they gonna do? Take the elevator? No, it's a private elevator. You need a key, a fob to even take our private elevator. A bug doesn't have opposable thumbs. They can't manage that. Let's say the bug is in your house, right? He's in there. He's real happy. It's filth because it's filthy in there. You know what I'm saying? It's like the perfect habitat for an insect. He's in there. He's having a good time raising a family, a happy family, having kids, fucking his bug girlfriend, fucking the shit out of her. She laying eggs. They raising a family in your dirty ass home, man. They really enjoying themselves. And then you finally see this motherfucker, right? Now you could try to hit him with a fly swatter or a shoe or a chancleta, right? You could. That's what most people go out about it, right? But then you might miss, man. You might miss. What if instead of that, you just fucking bomb the whole fucking building? You definitely killed a bug, right? And any other life forms in there, you know? Now, dropping a bomb may be too aggressive. Maybe you fumigate the place, right? But you would definitely kill the bug, all right? Now, what you want to do is, the difference between this and this is you might miss. This is an action that would make it impossible to fail, right? So when you're setting up your leading indicators, you think about what the goal is you want to accomplish. What's the results you want? And then think about, okay, what will I have to do to make failure impossible? What actions would I have to take to make it impossible to fail? That's where the bomb the building example comes from, right? And then you track that every day. You track that. You set up some sort of habit tracker and you track it every day. And now you only look at that. And if you only focused on hitting the leading indicators every day, there's no way you would miss. And I will talk about how to set up a habit tracker, right? And the ones I use, right? And you set up the actions that you have to accomplish every day or every week, whatever cadence is appropriate for for the accomplishment of your goals. And then it was impossible to fail if you did those things. And you wouldn't have to you wouldn't be feeling all sad like this. You would know that you'd be here in no time. And you just look at the leading indicators and just track those and just focus on those. The beauty of that is it works in accordance with everything else we talked about. Because now you know what the leading indicators are, and now you've already associated pleasure with doing those things, right? Because that's going to be part of your list of great that we talked about earlier. So now when you do those things, you're going to feel good. And within that feeling would use dopamine. This is all provided you haven't been wasting your dopamine on fucking pornography and weed and World of Minecraft all the time. If you haven't squandered your dopamine on empty victories, provided you have enough dopamine in the reservoir, then you're going to be excited about accomplishing these goals. You're going to be excited about moving in that direction. And then when you track it, now here's the thing. You won't see when you're tracking it every day, what gets measured gets managed. If you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So instead of feeling like a hole like this, what's going to happen is you're going to know that you're making progress. You're going to be actually seeing the progress every day by tracking it. And then you'll feel better as you're on the path. You'll know that you're getting closer every day. You know that you're getting closer, and that's going to get you more excited, more motivated. In fact, you'll probably be fucking super excited. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to be motivated to move on that path and join me at the mountaintop of success, if that makes sense. Again, but this only works if you haven't depleted your dopamine on empty victories. It's going to be super hard to go after your goals if you've been playing fucking Call of Duty Mobile all day. I like playing Call of Duty Mobile. I'm not going to I'll get my iPad out and I play that shit, but I only play when I'm doing cardio because cardio is part of one of my leading indicators to stay more ripped than yo fat ass. You know what I'm saying? When I track that, right? And then when I'm doing cardio, it's like I get pleasure out of doing cardio because I know it's moving me towards my goals. You know what I'm saying? All three of these things work symbiotically to actually give you motivation and help you become more motivated and to sustain motivation. Because a lot of people would say you don't need motivation, you just need discipline. And I've heard that too, right? And I'm not saying that it's not important. What I'm saying there's a whole nother level. If you have not depleted your dopamine, you won't need as much discipline, right? If you rewired your associations with pain and pleasure, you won't need as much discipline. If you're tracking your progress every day and you see yourself making progress every day, you won't need as much discipline because now you will have motivation and you can deploy that motivation against your goals. And if you do all three of these things, it will be super difficult to actually stop you, right? You'll need discipline to stop. right? The real ballers, the guys I know who are really successful, they need discipline to stop. You get what I'm saying? I need discipline to stop working and do other shit. You get what I'm saying? Because I've rewired my brain. And once you do that, ain't gonna be no stopping you, man. I'll see you at the mountaintop. It's super important that you track this every day. And I have a video all about tracking, learn, and how you can set up your own habit tracker for free, right? The exact same way I track my habits and I track all my leading indicators. I'll show you how to set one up in that video. Go watch that right now. Don't fuck around. Don't fuck this up. Watch it now, dummy.